So it's one of the, it's actually the second module, bit of a deep dive into Job Profiler on the technical side. It's not going to be the most in-depth, right to the bottom of the ocean deep dive, but this is a place to start. The Job Profiler module is a bit of a bigger module, okay, but I'm going to try to cover the basics, some of the technical basics, and also the front-end basics. So on the agenda, I'm going to give an overview. We're going to speak about job profiles, positions and inheritance, training requirements, settings, and reports. Okay, so what is the purpose of a job profile? If the job profile module is to build job profile definitions, ranging from the job output to the job profile requirements. So this is typically what a company would build before they put an advertisement on PNet. Okay, so what skills do you need? What expertise do you need? What experience do you require? But also, while you're doing the job, so once the recruitment process is finished, you have to get trained on the job, but you also have to, there has to be certain outputs of your job while you're doing work. So version 8 performance management also has a finger in the pie there. So there's an interface with performance management version 8 as well with regard to KPIs. A job profile is a grouping or categorization of positions with similar characteristics. A position is an instance of a job profile. A position inherits the properties of the job profile. Adding additional information is also possible in a position. So your position can inherit from your job profile, can inherit A, B, and C. And while it's inheriting A, B, and C, you can also go and add D to the position. Employees are appointed in positions, and positions can be vacant. All right, I've tried to draw a bit of a diagram. I'm a visual person to represent job profiler. So here goes. Okay, so as you'll see, a job profile on the left-hand side contains positions. The position can be linked to the org structure. So if you remember the recruitment process, you have to create a job profile, you have to create a position first. Then you have to create an organization structure with organization nodes, and then link positions to the organization structure. All right. And contrary to popular belief, a position is linked to appointment history. Appointment history is linked to the employee. So there's not a direct link to the employee. It's via the appointment history. Okay. And for those of you who've used managed employees, you appoint an employee in a primary position. So only primary positions are linked to the org, not secondary positions. Okay. Any questions at this point?
No, not for me.
All right, let's carry on. Job profiles stored in the table JP job profile. We'll dig a bit deeper into the tables now. A job profile is not linked directly to an employee. A position is linked to an employee. No, it's not. The position is linked to the appointment history. Okay. And the appointment history is linked to an employee. But the way people speak about positions is an employee is linked to a position. So for a layman, the position is linked to the employee. On a technical level, it's linked to the appointment history. An example of a job profile would be something like software developer, and a position would be C# developer. Okay, so C# developer would inherit the same characteristic of software developer, but you'll add, for instance, PDP training to C# developer, specifically to the language C#. Okay, positions and inheritance. So we're going to look at the table structure now. Positions are stored in JP job positions. Okay, so in a JP job positions table, there is a whole host of columns on the right-hand side that starts with inherits. That is the field that indicates whether that section in job profiler inherits, the position inherits that section from the profile. Okay, so at this point, I think it'll be good to show an example. All right, so I'm going to log into master here. Right, let's take this position. You'll see that you can sort the positions list. This is a job profile list. This is functionality that was introduced on job profiler only. A bit experimental, but it works well on the different columns. So I can sort via the code, descending and the ascending. So let's take Ananda's position, which is a junior patrol. So with sections, I'll select a position now. With sections in job profiler, we mean these sections, these menu items on the left-hand side. And you have your requirements profile. All right, if I go and select a position now, just to show that, there's 93 positions. You'll see from this side, you can see which organization structure the position is linked to. I'll show you a tree view of the organization structure. So this is linked to the sales office, and that is the hierarchy. Let me select a position. Okay, just be patient, please. So if you go onto the section now, you'll see, let's do the following. Go to the notes section. Just notes on the position, general notes. But you will see lost my scroller or my mouse pointer. There's no inheritance here. Okay, so there's notes on the job profile and there's notes on the position profile. Let's go to the requirements. It's just loading. All right, why does the inheritance not show? Of course, I think the setting is not on. So let's just have a look at the setting. Allow inheritance setting. Competency allow inheritance modification. It's an important setting. It has been set now, so let's go back to notes. Okay, now you'll see once you switch on inheritance, there's an option at the top of the section which shows inheritance from the job profile. Okay, let's go back to the job profile. Job profiles notes as an example. So add a note. This is my job profile note. Okay, the date today is the 23rd. Save that. I'm going to open the position again, reload the notes. You'll see there's a note on this position as well that inherits from the job profile. What's going to happen if I uncheck the inheritance? Want to take a guess? All right, anybody want to take a stab at it? Okay, if I uncheck inheritance, the note is going to copy it to the position. So it breaks the link with the job profile and is now physically added to the position. Okay, so each of these sections on the job profile, let's take experience, for instance. On the job profile, if I go to the position profile, so the same menu items are repeated. It's called experience. There it is. There's an option to break the inheritance. Okay, so you would break the inheritance. Why? Gert, do you know why we break the inheritance?
Well, if you want to add specific stuff to the position, because I'm not now sure if you can add stuff to it if you inherit. So
You can.
okay,
Can
so
there,
I don't
there
know
is
then.
actually a setting for that as well. I'll show that setting now. So you break the inheritance if the job profile is if the position is so specific that it's only one instance below the job profile, then you can break the inheritance. Okay. I'll quickly go to the profile again. Let me sort again here. It was the first profile. Oh, sorry, no, it was the junior patrol. There's an option here, Gert, that says allow adding on positions while inheriting. Okay. So
Okay.
you can inherit and then add additional characteristics for the position that is specific to that position. Okay. What I wanted to show is something that I wanted to show now. Just like my mind, sorry. I wanted to show the database. Let me quickly go to the database. Okay, great. Let's go to Casio. I'm busy on Casio here somewhere. Yeah, so let's search for that JP job profile that we have just edited. So we've disinherited the positions nodes. Okay. So the job profile is this job profile. Let me just get the code here. So the job code is this code. Okay. Right now, I'm going to select the positions, JP job positions with no lock. Where I think it's the job FK, where FK job is 1065. FK job is 1065, and we're gonna order by date. editor descending to view the last one. I actually think it's job FK. Okay. You'll see also the user column, the names for the user in job profiler is not a varchar field. So job profiler was started as a standalone system. So ARM currently uses that Commander uses a standalone system for job profiler, but they use the LMS system as well that has job profiler on it. That's because they were using the standalone system way before they started using the LMS. Okay, so it was a standalone system and the foreign key to a user was an integer. All right, so let's call here. Right, so when did we edit it? So this is master. Sorry. I think I just made the same mistake that Darby made this morning. So I made a change on master. Let me just run the query on master also. Okay. Let me just get the correct position. I think I have the correct position. It's a job code. There's a junior patrol. Go to the positions. This is the job profile. Let me select the position again. That was the notes. Okay, so this position code is that. So let's just use a position code to do the select. Position. So the same as the top one. Yeah, I was starting to be fancy. Position code. You will see inherits note is 0. So I'm going to change it again. It is a warning because users sometimes click buttons accidentally. Okay, so when you disinherit, the record is deleted. Okay, that is actually all that happens, and this field gets updated. Now inherits note is 1. Okay. What, that does not update, that's funny. Okay, in any case. Okay, so those are examples of inheritance columns. As I've said, just to recap, each of the sections has its own column. The position is linked to an employee from the front end, but technically it's linked to an appointment history record. When inheritance is removed from the content from the job profile, the content from a job profile is copied to the position record. Okay. Rest positions and inheritance. Are there any questions on what I've just shown? Okay. You're welcome to interrupt me at any point. Okay, let's carry on. Training requirements. Who has seen the training requirements tab on the LMS portal? Briefly. Let me quickly show that. Let me quickly show that. This employee has data. Learning portal. Thinking who would have data there. I will log in now with somebody else if needed. So the training requirements tab on the LMS portal is actually the qualifications that are related to your job title, the programs related to your job title, the licenses related to your job title, and the training requirements related to your job title. So this is training that you need to complete in that job profile position. I'll duplicate my tab again. I'll duplicate the tab and just go back to job profiler. We'll pause the first load, so it should be quicker now. Okay, so my requirement profile. One of the qualifications I added in manage employees. No, it's actually added in manage employees and you add it from there. Okay. Just go. I'm not at the correct position. Okay, I must select the job profile for this employee. I just assumed it was junior patrol, but it's not. So where do I view this person's position? I can say view profile on my details. So this person, that is his position code. The job code is admin, so I can use that. Go back to job profiler. Okay. There are qualifications on this job profile. So these two you'll see here on the learning portal. Okay. You'll see they are repeated. And that should actually be a bug. But you'll see the two distinct qualifications that are uploaded or added as requirements on job profiler shows on the LMS portal. Okay, so there would be different sections here. Now for the different sections in PDP, personal development plan, programs, licenses, training requirements. There are other sections as well, but those are the sections and unit standards that are most used by clients. Just briefly, if I click open here, then it will load pathways for all training interventions and unit standards that are linked to the qualification and are in turn then linked to a pathway step on a pathway and are published and you are on a target audience. Okay, so those are some pathway rules, but we'll speak about pathway as well in future. Okay, the thing to remember now is just training requirements is PDP and reads its data mostly from the job profile. Okay, at ARM, there are a lot of different job profiles. And what ARM uses the system for is training. So when a job profile is created, via the import, they need to go and create or add training for that job profile. Everybody who visits the mine needs to go on induction, for instance. So that training needs to be loaded for new job profiles. Okay, bit of a long-winded explanation, but I think most of you got that. Any questions on the training requirements? Okay, so just what we've said, training required programs, unit standard licenses, all of them show up under the LMS portal training requirements tab. This is the PDP. You can now also go and add position-specific requirements that will also display on the employee's PDP. The employee now appointed currently in that position will see position-specific training. Okay, settings. We've had a quick look at settings, but let's go over it again. So the sections can be turned on or off. Let's just go to this. The settings. I don't know about you, but I think Bill Gates needs to design windows so that you can actually see your pointer on the screen. I sometimes lose my pointer. Okay. So the settings, all of those menu items, most of them can be turned off via settings. Administration, configuration, settings. The job profiler layout page or master page does not have a loading indicator yet. So it was brought over from the standalone system as is. There were modifications made. You'll also see on the job profile pages, when you select a job profile, you lock the job profile and it shows up as locked as well. On top of this page, you see it's locked by. Okay, so there was an error. Let's just do the following. Just go to profiles again. I just want to unlock the profile that I was on. Okay. I think a build went through just now. So normally when you're on master, and we sometimes get a complaint that the system is slow, but when the build comes through, you experience the first load effect again. Okay. You see this job profile. So how job profile works is a team of employees will work on job profiles, but they will work on only certain job profiles. So a member of the team will select junior patrol, set up the job profile and lock it. Which means they're busy with it. You can unlock the profile by clicking this button here. Okay, I'm gonna click it. Obviously, because this page loads, it is locked again. I open this page again. When another user opens the profile and does not unlock the profile, the fields are disabled until you physically go and unlock the profile. Going back to settings. Here are the settings. All of the sections on the left-hand side. Outputs, job intent, professional status. And you'll also see an important field is the grading type used. So the grading type is how a company scores a job profile to indicate its relative value to other job profiles. Okay. The default data that the system ships with is actually, it's not Patterson, it's Peterson, the Peterson job grade. So what is important for us is the grading type used should always be set at the client. Because there can be multiple grading types or grading scales, you need to display a report with an employee number, name, surname, position, and what the grading scale is. Okay, so you need to only select one of the grading scales, else employee data will be duplicated. So the default grading scale, grading type, is selected over here. Okay, this needs to be selected. We had a support query the other day where the data of employee data was imported, but the grading type, grading scale wasn't set on job profiler. That is because the grading type used wasn't saved, wasn't selected. So the import doesn't know which of the grading scales linked to a job profile it must update. Okay. The grading pipe, as I said, is Patterson, a formula system to determine the relative value of jobs within an organization. I wanted to show this just out of interest sake. I think this is quite interesting. So jobs are graded on different bands. So you have A, B, C, D, and F, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And these bands indicate what function is performed within the job. So the F band deals with decisions that focuses on organization's direction. So in this case, directors of departments will fall within this band. The E band, this is a spelling mistake, I think, because it's not F. Responsible for decisions related to the executions of strategies set at band F. Interprets the overall business plan programs. C band, focus of this band is to lead a team and produce. The B band, you work with established procedures, and if in doubt, incumbents need to ask. And the A band is interesting. It's work that is specifically defined. There are no questions of the work that need to be executed and what needs to be executed. So just out of interest, this is what Small uses. Small uses these same bands. And now you can understand why only employees in certain bands do performance management, for instance. Okay. This needs to be set up for a client. It's the default grading used by the client and it's important for reporting. Okay. With reports, the standard job profile and position report ships with the system. Okay. But custom reports can be developed and uploaded to a client as an uploadable report. The same way that you can upload an employee profile report as an uploadable report. We've seen that. You've seen the employee profile report, but it can also be linked to an uploadable report. Okay, the job profile and job position report is normally a Word document that you can export and send to somebody to review externally on the system. So it will indicate everything in all of the sections that you've captured. Okay, clients can design the report custom with their logo, with formatting in different sections, but the standard report does ship with the system. I'll show one now. I'll show the standard report now. On the technical level, to customize reports, you will need to insert a record in JP report link. It has a field FK reports, RPT reports object ID, which refers to the uploadable report. Okay, let me show the report. On the report, job profile. All of the additional reports that you add to JP report link is going to show up on the drop down on the job profile page here, the job profile reports page. If there's an additional report, it will show up in the drop down here. Export a report. I haven't clicked on it, but I trust it's going to export here. Good. Right, so the report, obviously, if you add more detail to the report, more detail will show. Okay, so clients can take the standard report and customize it, but not they cannot customize it. They need to request this, and we develop a report for them. Okay, same happens for the job position. The job profiler. So it's not shallow. It's a little bit of a deep dive. Are there any specific questions on job profiler? Gert?
I'm good, thanks. I think Rian, yeah.
Ja,
Yes, Rian.
Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, I just want to know. So the job profile of position report, what kind of information is found on there? How would it differ from a normal standard uploadable report?
So the normal uploadable report will show, let's say, for instance, won't show the occupational category and occupational level, and the client wants to see that on a report, will request that we add those two fields that is available on the job profile detail. So the request for a different report will only be based on one of three criteria. The client wants to customize it based on their corporate identity. The client wants to show additional information that we do not show on the standard report. And the client wants to structure the information differently than it is structured on the standard report.
Okay.
So that would be the criteria. All right. Now, there's any questions from you? Or anything that you want to add?
No, thanks, Jens. It covered everything. Thank you.
All right. William?
Also good. Thank you, Jens.
All right, great. Harvey?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, we know you're good, Harvey. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time. Have a good day, and we'll speak again.
Thanks, Tits.
Thank you, Jens.
Thanks, Jens.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.